Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandra. Today I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I read in the month of April. And there were 10 books that I read, which I think might be a personal best for me. I'm not a very fast reader at all, and I'm super busy. So I was very proud of myself for getting 10 in. And then if I have time, I'll share a little bit about my May reading plans. So let's get to it. I'm going to go in reverse order because my mom brain isn't doing so good these days. Recency. I'm just going to go backwards in time because that's easier for me. The last book that I read in the month of April is a book that has been on my TBR forever. But because Apple TV Plus has a series, an adaptation coming out on May 16th, I went ahead and jumped in. It is Murderbot, and the first book is All Systems Red by Martha Wells. And I was shocked at how relatable Murderbot was and how much fun I had reading it. It was a very quick read, probably takes like an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. I read along ebook version as well as listened to the graphic audio of it, and it was good. At first, the voice for Murderbot didn't really do it for me, but then I watched the preview for the Apple series, and I was surprised at Alexander Skarsgård's voice, but I think it does kind of match, so we'll see what he does with the role. I'm excited. I feel very optimistic about it, but loved it. I think I related to Murderbot a lot. I am incredibly socially anxious, and I like being alone. I am the most awkward person in work meetings, work settings, social settings, even my own closest friends. I just feel a little on the outside looking in. It's a weird thing to describe, but all that to say, really related to Murderbot. He's a total mood. Loved him. Can't wait to see more of him. That was a 5-star read for me. Then, oh, Emily Henry. This was probably my biggest disappointment of April. I generally love Emily Henry books, and this one just did not do it for me. I don't know if it's because I've just been so busy recently with school coming to a close, parenting stuff, sports coming up, work has been busy. I haven't had a lot of time to myself and I've been grumpy. This book has a dual timeline story in it. You guys, this felt like 400 pages of just vignettes, and it went on and on and on. It dragged out for me. It just felt so slow. I had a hard time caring about one of the timelines and felt like the romance wasn't as central to the story as it should have been as a romance. Like, it had a happily ever after and all of that, but at the very end, getting there took so much, and this wasn't even in my top 4 Emily Henry books, so I might feel differently about it at a different point, but this just wasn't it for me. Some beautiful poignant lines and that kind of thing, but it wasn't enough. So I think I gave this 3.75 and rounded it up. And then for the Story Darlings podcast, I read A Tribute at Fire by Sariah Wilson with Tara, and this was a 4.25-star read for me. It's good. It has a cliffhanger though, so if you plan on reading this, it's very Greek mythology heavy, so if you are a huge nerd into that like Tara is, I recommend this one. But just know that there's a cliffhanger, and A Vow of Embers doesn't come out until July 8th. But this one is on Kindle Unlimited. This was Sariah Wilson's first romantasy as well, and just so that you know, her contemporary romances don't have spice at all. This one was a very slow burn enemies to lovers story, and there were pages and pages and pages of intense kissing, and that's as far as it went. I don't know what the plans are for the next books, but if you have to know that kind of thing, just know that. The next 2 books I read, these have been on my TBR forever. I've honestly heard very split things about it. Some people hate it, some people really, really love it. I'm in the latter camp. I loved these books. For being YA fantasy, this is how you do YA fantasy enemies to lovers. Heartless Hunter, this was a 5-star read for me. I loved how the witch blood magic worked. I loved the enemies to lovers, like the witch and the witch hunter dynamic. I also loved that there was kind of a faux love triangle between Rune, the main character, and these 2 brothers, Gideon and Alex Sharp. The end has a big cliffhanger and a big emotional punch. I was kind of grateful that I read it now, because then I just, immediately went and picked up book 2, which is Rebel Witch, and it was still really strong. But I think I gave it like a 4.5, 4.75, something like that. There was just a little bit too much cat and mouse back and forth for me. Because this is a duology, I would say 90% of the love interest time was spent not together and just being enemies and playing games with each other. So that was kind of frustrating for me. I wanted more of like the happy kind of romance to it. So that was my only nitpick. But great duology. Highly recommend this one. This one was another highly anticipated read for me, and I'm so happy that I picked this up. This is Firebird by Juliette Cross. This is going to be a trilogy. It's called The Fire That Binds. This is like a alternate Roman Empire type of story, but with dragon shifters. And it has a very, very complex love story that I think was handled very well. It's one of those stories that's presented this way initially, the love dynamic between them. As the story goes on and things take place, you just see how complex and how complicated those layers are between these 2 people. And I just feel like everything was balanced really well. I'll say if you're looking for a tone of this, it's not like a feel-good romance type of story. This felt very much like the Stars adaptation of Spartacus, that series. So there's a lot of nudity, graphic violence. There's assault, there's gore, wartime stuff. This is the Roman Empire. It's a very corrupt society. This is right before the fall of Rome. The second book doesn't come out until winter of 2026, though. It's called Bloodsinger. But I commented on one of the author's posts, and she replied that she has seen the cover art for the next book and that it looks stunning, which this one looks stunning, so I can only imagine. But I am so excited about it. It seems so far away, but I can't wait to pick it up, and I highly recommend this one if you are not sensitive to those kinds of content warnings. The next book I read was an arc for a book that comes out in August. It's called Diana Says Yes by Jen Besser and Shana Feste. This is the finale to the Dirty Diana trilogy that I've been talking about on my channel and on Instagram, frankly. I love that series. I picked up Dirty Diana because the cover was stunning. It's based on a Demi Moore, like a fiction podcast, and it's all about women's desire and empowerment, and they're 40-something MCs, not safe for work content. Very, very satisfying trilogy. It's one of my favorite series I think I've read this year. I think it's talked about a lot as a romance, but it strikes me as more of a literary fiction that is very spicy. Definitely recommend that one, and I am so happy that I got to read that one early. Next book is one I wanted to love this so much. A, I've seen it everywhere, and I feel like everyone has the best things to say about it. But B, I was disappointed with Caraval. I thought it was too surface level and things weren't explored deeply. And so I thought we were going to get a little bit more of that in this kind of book. And no, I ran into the same problem. This one is also a Deadly Games inside a magical kind of place. There's some plot armor in here that explains the connection between the love interests, but there were so many unanswered questions that I was left feeling very unsatisfied at the end of this book. I actually started reading Enchantra, hoping that some of those questions would get answered, and then I realized that the next book doesn't even follow the same character, and then I put the book down. So I don't know if I'm going to get those answers in the next book. Until those questions are answered, it's going to feel very plot hole to me, but I will avoid spoilers in going into it because I'm just one of those readers that don't know how to relax and just accept things as they are. So, if this sounds like your jam, don't let me poo-poo all over it for you. Pick it up and read it. But I enjoyed it enough. I just wanted more. I just wanted something a little meteor. Second book I read in April was Summer in the City by Alex Aster, and this one was so cute. Look at this Walmart edition. You have these adorable stained edges. And if you're new to my channel, I live in Northwest Arkansas, which is where Walmart is headquartered. And if you live in Northwest Arkansas, you have probably worked at the Walmart home office at some point in your life. It's just this weird bubble that I live in. And these editions are just so cute. So I picked it up, and I think this was like a 4.25 read for me. So cute, so fun. The female is, she's an award-winning show writer who really appreciates her anonymity and her privacy. And then the male love interest is this billionaire, and there's just a lot of good clashing between their personal values. And it's so good. This is like the perfect summer read or beach read. So I highly recommend this one. I would probably score it higher on a second read. So cute. The first book that I picked up in the month of April was The Ministry of Time by Kaliana Bradley. This one, I knew it was going to be a science fiction, but I was told that it was a love story, and I guess it was a love story-ish. It's romantic sci-fi, if that makes sense. It's based on an actual historical figure named Commander Graham Gore, and I thought the way that time travel worked was super cool and unique, but just something about the writing just didn't really ever capture my attention, and it felt like a chore to read it. And I typically like dual timeline types of stories, but it just didn't really do it for me. And then the ending was pretty open, so you really didn't get like a traditional happily ever after either. But, it was imaginative. It just wasn't for me. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars. Yeah, I expected more romance, I guess, and I didn't get that. I just got like a different kind of mystery. Meh. But anyways, those were the 10 books that I read in the month of April, which not too shabby, if I may say so myself. In May, I'm going to take it kind of easy. I started reading this one the other day, Broken Souls and Bones by L.J. Andrews. I read her Ever series books, The Ever King, The Ever Queen, and The Miss Thief. Really, really like those. This one is the start of a new series and it has a nonverbal MMC. I'm really intrigued, loving it so far. It's a very Norse-inspired type of world. And then I'm going to make myself read Enchantra by Kaylie Smith, just because I want to see if my questions are going to get answered and I can feel better about this series. But this one follows the sister, and I didn't really care for her in the first book, but I'll see. I hear good things about it. And then for the Story Darlings podcast, we're reading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller this month. Tara just got back from Greece and Italy a couple of weeks ago, so she is on her Greek mythology kick. I read The Song of Achilles 3 years ago, but I don't really remember all the details, so I'm looking forward to that reread, and then we're going to talk about that on the podcast early next month. And then I think I might squeeze in another Murderbot book. I don't know how many books this series is supposed to cover, so if anyone knows, let me know, because my memory sucks. I want to read things when they're relevant, so I'll actually remember them. Yeah. So I really don't have any set plans. A couple of months ago, I subscribed to Book of the Month, so I have been getting at least one book every month from that, and now I have a stack of books on my desk just growing. So I have bunch of books that I need to get through on that. One I'm really curious to read, which is Silver Elite. So I'm going to see if I can pick that one up this month. But also on May 13th, A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Jensen comes out, which is the sequel and finale to A Fate Inked in Blood, which is another Norse-inspired book that I read last month and gave 5 stars. It was freaking fantastic. Loved everything about it. So I can't wait to read that one and see where it goes. Besides that, I don't know. So maybe Murderbot, maybe some more rom-coms. I have a huge pile of literary fiction and pre-orders coming in at some point. I'm just trying to enjoy my life and not be stressed out because pretty soon, in a few weeks, my 8-year-old boy is going to be home all day, every day. And if you're a parent of a similarly aged child, you know that there are no summer vacations anymore. So it's going to be a lot of running him around doing different activities, me also trying to work full time with my job and do meetings and do podcasting stuff and do all of my goals and passion projects and all of that kind of stuff too. So I just feel really drained and tired. Also, I didn't mean to bring the end of this video down with complaining about stuff, but if anyone has any pointers or I don't know, just tricks to re energize or something, let me know because I am open to any and all of that. And yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, go ahead and drop me like a pink flower emoji because May is here. It makes me happy. It's been raining so much, but the weather is finally starting to warm up. So everything has been just blooming. Everything's turning lush and verdant colored now. And it just makes me happy. A lot of open windows and fresh air and breezes and stuff like that while I read and have hot tea. And it's just like a simple pleasure that I like to kind of revel in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nothing too exciting on my end, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books and what you felt about them or what your favorite reads were or least favorite reads were for the month of April and what you might be planning to read next. I hope you find some peace and some time to yourself. Until next time, okay, bye.